Alright guys, MCU Collector here with the new video. Finally have the Avengers Infinity War Wave 2 Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure. So I have the Wave. I picked it up yesterday. Sorry I didn't get to do videos earlier. I had a lot going on, but here we have it. I'm going to do all the figures in order basically from what we see on the package. But here the first one is Thor. So Thor was absolutely awesome in the movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I really recommend that you do. I'm sure there will be spoilers. Maybe from myself in the videos, but I'm sure in the comments, so be mindful of that. But here, looking at the package, we see the Avengers Infinity War logo there in the front, Thor up in the corner. You see Cull Obsidian is the Build-A-Figure. You have the Avengers A logo right there at the top, Legend Series. Side artwork we have of Thor, looking very cool. Product shot of the figure. Bio reads, when the state of the universe is thrown into chaos, Thor sets out to protect Earth and beyond. Here we can see the Cull Obsidian or Black Dwarf Build-A-Figure, then all the figures in the wave to build Cull Obsidian. So again, we'll go in order, starting with Thor, Black Widow, Ant-Man, Wasp, Malekith, and Black Knight. So Thor, let's get this open and take a look. All right, here is Thor out of the package, and this is an awesome figure. This is probably going to be my favorite figure of the wave, just because I really like the body that they use for the Thor figure. It's really good. It's basically the same as the Thor Rocket Groot 3-pack that I just reviewed not long ago. It's basically the same figure with some minor differences, so we will compare them. But let's take a close look at kind of the accessories, which first is the Cull Obsidian left arm. Looking very good. You can see all the paint variation and paint detail in there, and the mold itself is pretty awesome with the scales and everything. So really cool. Really looking forward to getting this guy all built up and completed. I have seen one in hand from my friend as far as how big the size is and how it looks, and it is huge. So it's going to be awesome. Next we have Stormbreaker. So this is the axe that Thor gets in the movie. And I can't really pronounce it, Nidavellir. However, it's really pronounced, but that's where he goes and gets it made by Atiri, the giant dwarf. And then they get the mold for the axe, and then Groot uses his arm to put for the handle. So that's really cool. And that's not, I don't think, a spoiler in and of itself, because when the toy came out, you could see the wood and everything, the little leaves. So everyone kind of, the theories were already out there that it was from Groot, but I guess it's confirmed in the movie. But looks pretty good. It's basically just a flat brown. There's no color variation in it at all. No wash, nothing like that. But the detailing of it is pretty cool. I don't know, they kind of have like these straps for where like the handle would be, or just to kind of hold it together. But the sculpt itself is really good, and the silver that they use, it's like that. It's like a gunmetal silver color. It looks really good. It's pretty flimsy, and I don't know if mine's just because it was kind of a warm day, if that's kind of caused that, or what might be going on. But it holds up pretty good. The axe part itself is pretty solid. It's just the handle that seems a little bit flimsy, but it does look good. I like the way it came out and looked. This lightning piece is just a blue translucent. It's similar to the lightning effect that came with the Thor Ragnarok, Thor and Valkyrie 2-pack, the Target exclusive. It's the same blue, translucent blue. It moves around, but it's not going to get into different poses. It's kind of stuck that way, and you can see it's really made to kind of go to work with Stormbreaker, because it wraps around the handle. You can kind of finesse it in any way that you can, and it just kind of rests on there. I'm sure you can use it, maybe put it on his arm or something like that, but it just kind of wraps around the handle right here. No other way to really get it to hold, and it just kind of sits there. But it does look pretty good. But I mean, you can kind of move it around like that, I guess, to kind of get the lightning all over it. But really cool. Next we look at the the Thor figure. I am a big fan of this head sculpt. Some of my friends weren't feeling it as much as I was, or I am, but I really like it. It's the same head sculpt as the Thor Valkyrie 2-pack. It's just the way, obviously, that the face is applied is different. This one has the digital print, and then the skin tone is much different. So the skin tone's probably better on that 2-pack, Whereas this one I think looks better because the digital print, you could see the 2 different color eyes and you could see the scar, and I think that came out looking really good. It's not the best Chris Hemsworth likeness, but I think overall it is good, and it does work. So really cool there. I think you always get side profile shot, always seems to look better on these figures. But really cool. So again, this piece here looks like it's basically the same mold, except for the cape they have this piece that's really added on with the slight mold variation, because you can see it kind of pegs in there, or maybe it just glues on right there. So that's kind of the difference from the 3-pack. But I checked the sculpt and everything, it's basically the same. So this might just be glued right on top of it, right over these pieces, because even if you look like right here, it's got the same markings, the same notches in that plastic. So it is the same. But the arms, he has the armor scales. So I don't know if they just did line work in the arms. The sculpts themselves are actually the same, but obviously there's no scales on this one, so they had to add in the lines there. The reason why I really noticed that they're the same is because of that hinge that I was talking about on this previous one, how deep down into the forearm it goes to give it a crazy bend. It's the same exact thing on this one, so they just added in the line work, which is good. And then the rest of the figure itself is the same. Now the torso piece is not a flat black like this one is. This is almost like a brown color, and it's not coming through on the video. But if you have it actually in hand, it's definitely a much more brown. You can see the pants are actually a brown color. You can see this one's definitely dark. Actually, well, they're probably about the same, but the boots are different. So on the 3-pack, you see we got the little silver right there on the boots, and they're all black. Here, we get a little bit of bronze coloring into the front shin guards to kind of give it an armor look. It's hard to tell. It's very subtle, but you could see kind of in the light, a little bit of differences up close. So that's kind of a nice added touch that they have, and you can see it on the shoes as well. So that's pretty cool. The cape itself, not a whole lot. We get a little sculpted detail in there. There's no paint or anything on the red, and it's just kind of draped down. No flow or anything to it, and it is a very soft, pliable rubber type material, so it can move around quite nicely, so it's not going to really get in the way. And then one thing about this one that's good, it doesn't go all the way down to the floor, so you can see that he can stand with no problem, and then if need be you could kind of lean back on it, but he can stand with it without an issue. As the older Thor figures with the cape, the thing was just too long. It was basically touching the ground as he was standing. So this one doesn't have that problem. So the articulation on the figure is the same as this 3-pack, so I don't want to really go over it too much. You know, the legs go out, you do have an upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, no boot swivel, but feet hinge all the way down. Ooh, I want to be careful. All the way up, pivot, and then the torso, because there's no waist articulation, but you do get a good pivot in the torso. So lots of range of motion, not a whole lot forward, a little bit back, so that's good, but you do get a lot of range of motion in that diaphragm joint, which is good. And then the arms have that crazy bend. Look at that, that's a little too much. But yeah, solid figure, very happy to have it. It's hard to say which Thor figure is going to be my favorite between the two. They're both great figures. This one kind of just gives it the little bit more classic look because he has the cape, whereas this one I guess would be more of an ultimate look. But both very good figures. This is probably my favorite Thor figure. This one's really given... it's hard to say. Both right now, these are my two go-to favorite Thor figures. Which one is my favorite over the other? It's hard for me to tell. In time, I'm sure I'll be able to make a choice, but I'm very happy and pleased with both of these figures, and I think you guys will too. So definite must of the wave. It's pretty awesome. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks a lot.